everyone, welcome to Thoughts of Treasures. My name is Connie and this is my craft room. Welcome in. If you guys are new to watching me, please be sure to hit the subscribe or the follow button so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. Usually put about 3 to 4-ish or thereabout a week, and I want you to be notified, so make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button. I also have a Telegram and a Facebook channel that allows you to get notifications when I upload videos. So please, if you need that information, you can go to my website, thoughtsoftreasures.com, look up my link tree. I had to think of the word, the link tree, and it'll give you all that information. So with that being said, we are here tonight. This is Christmas in July. We are still working on our Christmas projects, and this is what we're gonna be working on tonight. This is our little fresh baked cookies. And who doesn't love a cute little gingerbread for Christmas? So, with that being said, I'm trying to put this up here so. Alright. Papers are flying around down here. Okay, so with that, this is going to be a kit. If you're interested, you can comment the word gingerbread and I can get that information to you. Again, on my website, you'll see a lot of different things without prices. That's because my website is not set up as a purchasing site. It's more just a blog site. That does not mean that anything is not for sale. You can just simply ask. I do business kind of one-on-one with you guys rather than, it's just the way it works out for us right now. And who knows, when you're watching this, it could be totally different. These videos are up forever, but for right now, as of July of 2025, that's how we're operating. So just keep you guys informed. Again, this is our little fresh baked cookies. Our little gingerbread chef guy. Oh, he's so cute. So now these kits do come in 1/8 and 1/4 inch depending on how they work. So I like to do the different sizes only because you want your backer board to be nice and thick. Sometimes the pieces up front need to be nice and thick. However, then if you start doing 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, by the time you're done, you might have, look at the stack of this stuff. If I did this all in 1/4 inch, you'd already have an inch worth of stuff because there's 4 pieces there. Now I know 1/4 inch isn't really 1/4 inch, but it's close enough. You'd have an inch worth of stuff there. So I like to break it up into do different size pieces of wood, just to make it not so bulky and heavy and, gosh, you walk by it, you're going to run right into it. No, I'm just kidding, you're not. But you're going to notice that on mine. Now let me get a piece. I like to use the painter's tape. This is from the Dollar Tree. I don't know how much this is anymore. Prices at Dollar Tree are going crazy, so. Oh my goodness. Like I said, this is June. No, I keep saying this. This is July. I'm trying to go back in time. This is July. And they got fall stuff out already. And let me just tell you, the prices are just crazy. So, I like to put all of my pieces in one place. Maybe even try to categorize them into the different colors. So like this, I think I'm going to do it green. Now, I could change my mind halfway in between things. But that's this little holly stuff, so we're going to do that in green. This is a little snowflake. I'm going to do that in white. But I'm also going to do his hat rim in white, so I'm going to put that there. Then we have the candy that goes there. We're going to do that in white, but we're going to do this part in red, along with, this is a little top piece of the candy. So we're going to do that in red, along with the little berries and his heart definitely in red. So just kind of keep it together as you will. Make it a little bit more simple. Now as for the letters, I'm not sure what I want to do for the letters yet. I've thought of several different things. Now this will come with an inspiration picture. That doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. Keep that in mind. And I did go to Hobby Lobby over the weekend, and I got some different browns that I kind of want to see if I like the color of for the gingerbread. So we do have our little rolling pin, which we'll paint that up, and then we have our words: cookies, fresh, and baked. And I don't know if I want to do them all one color, I may. We shall see. I might do them all in black. I'm going to do the frame. This is what I was thinking. It's pretty scary sometimes when I think. But I think, and I'm going to get to this real quick too. I'm going to do the frame in antique wax, but I think I'm going to do the backer in cashew. Waverly cashew. Just something a little different. I don't know. I just kind of wanted it to be like a simpler sign, not really, I mean, Christmassy, but not Christmassy. I don't want to do green and red and, you know, all over it. So, with that being said, let me do this first. So, with my 1/4 inch wood, again, every time that hits something, has a little fan going. With all of my 1/4 inch wood, as of right now, that does not mean forever and ever, so you might want to, you know, make sure that you just check. But as of right now, all of my wood is masked, which the 1/4 inch is masked. What that means is it just has a simple coating of tape, which comes right off. You can use your fingernails. I just don't have any, so I use this little weeding tool, and you just want to pull this off. This just protects the wood from the laser so it doesn't get all scorched up. And you'll see on the back, which I'm going to do this black so it covers all that. These are the like little flashbacks from it. I mean, it is what it is. But if you do the front, you could get some of the same kind of score marks. Not score marks, flashback marks. Icky marks. Kind of like down here, but just this is bad. See how that is? So we're going to start by doing the back black. Move this out of the way so I can find some black. That's not even open. That's blue. So, like I said, I've been running a couple different ideas in my head how I wanted to do this. And I'll change things halfway through, but I think for the time being, I think I'm going to stick with doing the front in the cashew, just to keep it, I don't know, more neutral. So we'll see. It may look good, it may not, who knows, you just don't. I didn't want it too overly Christmas, because I wanted, you know, some people do gingerbread all year round. And maybe this is something that, you know, you want to put up for Christmas, but it's still going to have that Christmas vibe going with it. And now remember also, yes, the kits do come with all of the pieces that you see here. That does not mean you have to. If you decide that maybe you want to put a bow on it instead of this little greenery wood stuff, you know, you could very well do that too. And I was actually thinking about doing that, but I didn't pull any ribbon out. But you know, I could always decide and maybe do a part 2 on this and add that ribbon later. And I may. That might be something in my head. So I might do that. The more I'm thinking about it, I think I might like to put a little bow at the top instead of adding the greenery. So, wooden greenery. And then maybe I'll just use that for a different sign. So I'm thinking like a little cute little buffalo check bow on the top might be cute. And the more I think about it, like I said. So just because the pieces come with it does not necessarily mean you have to use it. Creativity and best. I'm going to dry this and make sure that I've got everything. So I like using black on the back just so it gives it a finished look. Covers up all of the cookies. And again, you can use any color you want. I just like black because it's quick, it's easy, and you know, it just looks more professionally done and finished when you have a finished back. I mean, not that I'm considering myself professional in any way, it just gives it a nicer, completed look. I think we're good. That's good. We're finished. I'll decide if I do black letters later. Let me go ahead and finish this piece of it first too, before I paint the front. And like I said, I'm just going to use the antique wax, because then I can clean my mess up. And I'm going to apply this with a baby wipe. And I just shook it up a little bit so I could get some of this baby wipe up off the, I mean, the antique wax up off the lid with the baby wipe instead of trying to dig in the jar. So we're just going to go around the front, because I just want to let this dry on its own completely. Because, you know, it's this antique wax, it does kind of leave a, you know, a waxy feeling when it's not quite dry. Slippery. But if you like that stained look, this is definitely the way to go without having to use that smelly stained stuff indoors. This just gives you a nice green look. If you have never used it before, definitely give it a try. It's by Waverly. It's called Antique Wax, and I'll show you it in a second. I mean, we all think, oh, everybody knows about this, Waverly Antique Wax. But, you know, I like to tell everybody over and over, just because, you know, there are people that have never heard of it. And I don't want you to miss out. Alright, let's get that all cleaned up. I'm going to set this over here to the side. And, let that fall on the floor. Let that fall on the floor. I need a bigger table. Alright, and now we're going to come in with our... I like cashew. Cashew's kind of like a tannish color. The only thing I'm kind of contemplating, and that's why I'm wondering, is when I put the little gingerbread on it. But we're gonna see how it's gonna work. Let me shake it up a little bit. Brush. We're gonna, because it does dry a little bit darker than what it is. And so if you are new to me, definitely check out my website. You can check out all the different projects, or if you're not new to me and you've never explored my website, how we have it set up is every project, you'll see a picture, and then when you click on the picture, you can actually view the video. I do believe they're taking you to YouTube now, but if not, they'll take you to Facebook. Just follow along, and again, you can fast forward through parts if you want to see how it's done. I do a lot of wood kits. I do a lot with the Cricut, different signs, just fun things. And then there's, of course, you know, here lately it's been wood kits, but there are different projects, you know, that I've done with Dollar Tree items. Just, you know, it goes on. Now, some of the links may not work just because of the way Facebook, because they all went to Facebook to begin with. And, well, if they don't go to Facebook anymore, then we're still trying to figure out if some of them have gone to YouTube or not. Well, you know, it's just an ongoing thing when things change, so we're just doing one day at a time. But it's a good way to find different project ideas. Let's just put it that way. All right, I'm going to give this a quick dry, and then we're going to give it another coat. I also have live sales. That's where I do a lot of my business. So if you're kind of new to me and you're not sure about ordering, that's the best place to just double down and check things, how it works and all that stuff. And I do them every other Sunday. Again, the list is on my website. It's also on my Facebook. You can check that out and see how it works. I know some people kind of question, well, why don't you sell things through your website? It has nothing to do with trying to be dishonest with anybody, because that is by far the least thing that I want to do. But it does hinder me in certain ways, because I don't want to miss a sale, or, you know, for the oopsie happen, or you know, whatever the case. I want to make sure that, you know, we're talk one-on-one, you know, we've texted back and forth, or whatever the case is, and, you know, whatever you order is shipped out to you immediately. I know you get notifications and emails, and, you know, I suck at emails. If they would message me, text me or something, I would get, that's fine, but I don't know, just for now, it's just too complicated, and we're a small business, that's all there is to it. So I would rather just keep it that way, at least for now. Who knows what time will bring, but I just want to make sure everybody understands. I don't do it for sneakiness, I don't do it for anything like that. I just do it because I don't want to miss out on anything. And the other reason too is because of shipping. I don't want to charge you $20 for shipping and turn around and it only costs $8. That's the way the shipping thing's going. I'm like, I would rather give you a price and be done. I'm your virtual shopping cart. So I do like to talk in between of me painting, because, you know, this is not rocket science, and I know we have to do it, so I try to put filler information in. For those that want to listen, they have that, and then for those that want to fast forward through this, you're not missing much. I do videos that are unedited, and they simply just go up 4 times a week, 3-4 times a week, as is. So if I mess up, if it turns out, if it falls off, you know, you all see it. I'm not editing it any of it. Kind of like doing it live, just unedited. Now, get this good and dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the frame together and let that dry completely while I'm putting all the other pieces in it. So I want to get this dried completely. When I'm thinking about it, I'm honestly thinking maybe I should put a little bow at the top with a little bit of fresh greenery, but I might do that on part 2. Because I have nothing, and I pulled nothing for that. But now that I'm actually looking at it, I'm going, that would be a good idea. Hot down here. Alright, I'm going to, before we go any further, I'm going to make sure that's on my very well used sanding block. I am not scraping anything off. I don't want it distressed looking. If you want it distressed looking, go for it. But I am just going to take this. What happens is when you paint, you feel this roughness. The paint brings the wood fibers up. So I'm just going to very lightly just go over it, and if something does come off and I don't want it there, we'll paint. Sometimes after your first coat, it's nice to sand it down. I don't usually, I just wait to the end. Because this way it also is extremely good for when you're gluing. It's smoother. You don't have that roughness. So let me get... Every craft room. There goes this chair again. I scoop myself right on out of it trying to move it. Every craft room needs little cookies, because we're going to use glue, and I want to make sure all of this stays down. Oh, we got wood bubbles. I'm just going to put a layer on here. Now usually when I do a frame, I put way more glue than I need, because I want to make sure that it all sticks down nicely. I got a blub there. That's okay. I will fix it. So we're just going to even this up. You got your holes at the top. You want to make sure you see through them. Whatever comes out. And then I'm going to put these little clamps on here just to hold them down. Oops. Make sure our holes are nice and even. Pretty even. Now I'm going to go in just with a little paintbrush and just get some of this. Don't worry about it. Don't get overly crazy upset that there's so much glue. I just like to get some of it off. It will dry clear. I just don't want clumps of it on the inside. I'm just taking a brush, wiping it off. Oh, it's from the wood. I'm like, what the heck? So, when you put wood in the laser, it is burned. So keep that in mind when you wipe the edges off. You're gonna be like, what in the turnip? Yes. So now let me just see if I can. Put that back in the water. Now, see how this is? You can see that. We're going to fix that at the end too. I have a little mark here before I have to decide if I have to repaint. Let's see if it wipes off. Nope, I'm going to have to paint over it. And I got a little black mark there, so let's dry that water up. And I'm going to touch it up real quick and let that sit off to dry. And just blend it in. With that finished drying over here, and And let's put our lid back on. And then we can start painting the rest of the items. All right, now, I guess let's start with our little, I got browns. I think this is honeycomb. We got honeycomb, we got bear brown, we've got sable brown, which, I don't know, that's kind of, I think I like. We've got sienna, which is more like a red color. I know, I might paint on the back and see. Let's see. And then this one is honeycomb. That one's kind of good too. But I'm not sure, I don't like the brown in that one. They're too dark. Brown, look, I'm telling you, browns for reindeers, I mean, brown is just a hard color. And I know you can lighten them, you can do anything, but a lot of people don't like to blend colors. They're not really good at that. They just want to kind of just pick a color and go with it. I'm not sure what color. Let me know in the comments what color you use for gingerbread and what color do you use for reindeers. I like nutmeg, but however, I think it's just too dark for gingerbread. That's why I'm saying I'm going to do it on the back. We're just going to put a little mark and see what this looks like. Because you know, sometimes they're not what they're in the bottle. I'm thinking I'm going to like the honeycomb. Oh my gosh. Let's put, this one is sienna, and I'm just going to do it on the back. Please tell me this is open. I'm trying to get a tiny little bit out. I don't need a whole bunch. Okay. This is the first one, which is sienna. Yeah, that looks a little dark to me. This one is going to be our sable. And this one is going to be our honeycomb. I'm thinking honeycomb is going to win. Let me dry them up. All right. So if you ever want to test, just do it on the back. So there's our three colors: the sienna, the sable, and the honeycomb. I think I'm just gonna have to go with the honeycomb. It still seems a little dark, but maybe I can lighten it up just a tiny bit. Let's add some white to it, and it just seems a little too dark. So we're gonna use the honeycomb. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of white. And I am definitely not a person that likes to mix colors. All right. these are there just for his cheeks. I'm not going to worry about them too much. There is a rim that goes on his hat. I'm not worried about that too much. I think that's pretty good for a gingerbread. It looked maybe a little bit light, but I don't know. Maybe he's undercooked. Telling you, brown is a very tricky color. Blues, you know, whatever you're doing in brown is just reindeers, gingerbread, bears. Let's get this dry and see what it looks like. Since I don't have a whole lot of paint to go fighting with, we're gonna sand before we do our second coat. And let's do this little, look, I'm like, no paint. See, that's why I don't like mixing paint. Because then you're going to end up with, oops. Do the same dealio here because I am scraping the paint off. All right. Talk about using all of the paint. See? Let's get this dry. Now the top part we are going to do his hat in white. Now, what I'm thinking about, I think I want to do a little buffalo check ribbon at the top. So I think I'm going to do part 2 with that. Now, I don't know what it's done, but the honeycomb was probably the best color. It was just maybe a little bit too dark. I think I like that as a gingerbread. Looks kind of light in the camera. I don't know if it's the lighting, but it looks kind of better in person. Kind of better? That's a good word. Alright, so let's get back to our plate. Let me get some white on here. And again, I'm not going to worry about there is a rim that goes here, so I'm not worried about getting right up close to it. Doesn't have to be perfect because you have that covering of of course this is white, so you're going to have to do at least 2 coats. And let's take we've got snowflake, which I'm not going to worry about because I'm going to do that. So I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to do the candy. We'll use them for something else, or if I decide later, then we'll do it for that. So I'm going to take those off. So I think I'm just going to add some actual, don't need the snowflake either. All right. And we're going to do this part white. This is his hat rim. So you can definitely keep those pieces for something else that you want to do in the future. Never ever throw things away. Absolutely not. Right, completely in between. And then we're going to go back in with his hat. Give him a second coat. Hat rim with a second coat. Now, some people, I'm not one of them because I just think it's so much work to do, will go in with their kits, and this is something to think about, and do a basic white coat. It's just like a primer, because then all of your other, and then you can sand that down and get all those paint fibers done with and over with. But if you do that, then you can, you know, all of your colors might pop better. It's, to me, I'm like, it's too much work. But it is a suggestion. You know, if you have time and you can do that, just coat everything. Just coat everything with white, walk away, let it dry, come back. Especially if you're doing like 3 or 4 of these for craft shows. You know, you're doing signs, you know, cover everything up, do it, and then, you know, you have that option where the colors just pop better. Even the browns will pop, all of it will pop so much nicer because you have that primer down. Now, I don't suggest, unless you actually want to, you know, do your sides, you know, spray paint everything down, because then you're gonna have like stuff all over the sides. I just say paint everything. You can put them on like a roller and roll them, you know, like on a board, and just roll everything with white. But to me, it is what it is. I think it comes out just fine either way. Just a suggestion, just an idea. All right, is that all the white I'm gonna do? Yes. Put that in there. And these little guys are red, so we're gonna use this. We're going to use Bright Red by Apple Barrel. So I do use a lot of different, more inexpensive paints. Do what you're comfortable with. It all goes the same way. So sometimes with the Apple Barrel, you might have to use a couple more layers because it's just a thinner paint. It is what it is, but it still works perfect. If you seal your projects, it's even better. I don't seal anything unless I know the person is going to be putting it on the outside. I always leave that up to the customer. If they're in the inside, I don't think there's ever a problem. Which you can spray seal with a polyacrylic, or you can just use your regular brush on polyacrylic. I mean, if you're definitely doing something for the outdoors, definitely seal. But if you're selling them for indoor signs, I would just, you know, you're selling them, I would just tell the customer that there is no sealing on this. This is for indoor purposes only. And then if they choose to seal it, then they can. mean, I put mine outside under a covered porch, but I've never had a problem either. All right, so we're gonna let that red. I am gonna do, whoop. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna paint my little, let's use warm buff. I just want like a, we got paint problems. Ew, gross guy, sorry. I'm not saying anything. That was a biggie. All right, I'm gonna actually use a tiny little brush. I know. Could it be more fun? Absolutely. Because I want to get in here and not use my score mark. That was kind of gross. So here's the thing with paint sitting around. The longer they sit around, things like that happen. It's okay. Let's see if I can just paint this with this. Or is this going to take forever? It's going to take forever. So let's go over here. I guess I could have done that off camera, but you know what? That's the part that I say about doing these videos live. Unedited. We've all seen it before, I'm sure. And I wanted this a different shade than him, so that's why I went a little bit lighter. And again, rolling pins, they're wood, they're brown. You could antique wax it, but then antique wax is the same color as the frame, and it's going to be sitting on the frame. All right, so let me put that in there. Let's dry this and see if I need to give it a little coat. And see, I do. So now, I'm going to show you. You can, I don't know, hopefully, well, maybe you can. See how it's all, I'm not sure if you can or not. But I'm going to go ahead and sand. Before I put my second coat on. Just to show you. And again, you don't have to. You can do this on the first, you know, after you paint. I'm using the bigger brush. I'm just trying to keep that score mark so that I want to paint the red in. that should be good. Give this a quick dry, and we're going to give it really handles. I'm going to use a small brush for this, and since it's not that big, we got our little red out. Oh. And another reason why I want it's just to be a different color than the gingerbread is because his hand goes on top of this. And there's our little rolling pin. We'll let that dry. Now we do have to decide. Oh, let me do the green. Let's do our little holly leaves green. This is going to be for his hat, so we definitely were going to use this one. And this is just Christmas green. This is a very pretty green. I'm not even sure how long I've had this bottle. Not enough to do that other one, but you know, Apple Barrel or any company, Folk Art, what's the other one? Deco Art. They all change their colors, like, you know, they get rid of them. Why? You find a color that you like and then blam, they get rid of it. So I don't know if they still have Christmas green, but this is a very pretty green. I absolutely love it. It's perfect. It's just a nice little green. All right, now I'm going to decide what color I'm going to do my letters. I think I may do them. I'm thinking green, but I'm going to put them on here together and just see what it looks like, and then maybe I can decide. But I'm really leaning towards the Christmas green. And then once we put, I'm really thinking I do. It's so cute. Look, see? And that's just perfect together. I think it looks good on there. We're not done with his face. I am going to make his face on here and his little hoochie things. But I just want to kind of place it on here so I can see what the letters look like with him. And decide, because I think the green is going to look nice. And then we can do the green letters. And I think I'm going to put fresh. So we could keep it straight, or we could do, I think I like that. And then we can put a little bow up here. Not a huge one, with a little bit of greenery. I think it's, because that's where this part's gonna go. And I don't want to put that there. I think I'm gonna put a little bow there. Yeah, I think green would look nice. Let's do green. And then we can work on him. So, I am going to just use this little pouncer. And we're just going to pounce the letters. because this is going to look nice up against that cashew color. I have to go back and do a second coat, but that's fine. And you can use, I'm using, I don't know, it's a makeup thingy, but I don't know what it is. But if you have the little triangular sponges, you can use that. You can just use it. It's just a little quicker. I mean, you might have your own methods already for doing something quicker. I am not a quick crafter, so, you know, that's why we just go with the flow. I don't believe in rushing things. And again, this is where the white would play good. If you did a white coat on this first, and then went back with your color, it would be a lot. You wouldn't have to do 10 coats of the color. We're just going to do it until we get the nice dark green. So, yes, I'm going to do part 2 on this, and we're going to put a bow. It will be finished-ish looking. It's going to be, I mean, with that exception of that piece missing. We're going to do a little bit more. Let's do fresh first. Besides, crafting should be something just to enjoy. I used to have craft nights at my house where we would just chit-chat, have a few beverages, and just craft. Something super fun. I think that looks good. I think this is going to look really good on that cashew color. And again, if you want to keep it more plain Jane-ish, you could do black letters or brown letters. I think that's good. Put that in here. Get these dried. And then we'll work on his face. Now with his face, I'm not doing a whole crazy thing. We're going to keep it rather simple. But I am going to give him some rosy cheeks. And then 2 eyeballs, and that's pretty much where we're going. He doesn't have a nose and all that. We're not doing all that. No. I'm not a facial person. So I'm going to use, let's see what's this. Rosette pink. Let's use some rosette pink. I just want something lighter pink. This is a folk art. I do believe folk art is a lot thicker than apple barrel, but this is folk art. You can read that, rosette pink. I think that'll work. And I'm going to actually use, maybe, let's use this. So I'm going to load my paint on. Just keep loading it on and loading. Let's get that hair off of there. And then we're just kind of let's fill that circle in. I don't want it to be a perfect circle. I just want it to be there. It's got hair on it or something sticking off of it. So I don't want it full, but I think that's perfect. Just keeping it a little bit. Oh Lord, everything's falling. There's a piece of hair on that thing. What the heck is on that thing? No fear, we'll get it. Well, these things are worth not very good tweezers. I don't want to pick it off because then I'll take the pink over to the I think I got it. That was weird. Strangio. Let's put a little more on there. Let's add some more hair to it. You can tell how often I use these little things. So that one's going to go in the trash can. It's seen better days. Alright, then I'm going to take some black. And we're going to make 2 eyes on him. But I am going to use... Oh Lord, what happened to it now? Well, we better find. We get shoved in here. Let me tie this on my neck. That might even be too small, so let's try. I think I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to make 2 little eyes. Yeah, we'll do it. So if you have problems like just making a dot, you can just simply just put in the paint, and then we're just going to, and if it's too small, it's okay. That didn't make a good dot. Two little eyes on it. That's all we're doing. Now, I'm going to take, these pens are amazing. If you guys need to grab yourself some acrylic pens, do so. These are in my Amazon store. If you're looking for my Amazon store link, it is on my thoughtsandtreasures.com page in my link tree. So we're just going to put some zigzag lines here. So, again, there's no rhyme or reason to this. Don't overthink it. Just like that. Simple. And we're going to do the same thing to his other hand. And again, even with this, with the white, you do need to go back and do a second coat. Oops, I dropped that. Dry this, dry his eyes. Before I stick my finger in it, because I am known to do that. Alright, then we're going to bring our, let's get rid of this tape. Let's take all these pieces off. We're going to start putting this together, and then I'm going to do a couple embellishments maybe. We'll see. Not embellishment, but, and then I'll do part 2 with the bow. And the only reason I say part 2 is because I don't have any ribbon here with me, but I think I'm gonna like the ribbon on it better. Oh, let's do this before we go any further. So on our frame, you can see how that is all colored like that. I'm just going to take my acrylic marker. You can use a Sharpie, you can just use regular paint, and we're just going to paint this. These markers do come in round tip and fine tip. I was looking for longest time for fine tip markers. I did not like the ones where you had to shake and bounce and plot and blah, blah continuously. These are amazing. So if you are looking, now they are a little pricey. They did just have them on Prime Day. But if you're looking for good markers, this is definitely the one I suggest. They do have smaller packs and they have larger packs. They have bold, they have pastel colors. Try not to get it all over everything. So this is just where the paint meets, and no matter how hard you try, you always will see it. Alright, So now you can see the difference. It's just makes a big difference and clears it all up. All right, now we can start assembling. Make sure I don't put in. All right, now let's get our glue again. You don't need a whole lot of glue. I do with the frame only because I want to make sure that all the pieces are down. Put him right yonder. Pressing down. And I use the wood glue from the Dollar Tree. Hopefully it'll remain $1.25. Who knows what that's going to happen. We'll see. Let's put his little hat rim on. Then trying to think I want to do fresh baked. And I think I'm going to put cookies crooked. I think that's what I'm going to do. So this wood glue does set up quickly, not extremely quick. You still have time to maneuver. It does take 24 hours to actually set up and dry. So keep that in mind. Make sure fresh is straight. That'll work. And I'm not putting glue on every single letter, just around. And let's do cookies before I press anything down. Sometimes you'll get the kits that will have the actual score marks. And that doesn't leave for much if you wanted to do cookies that way. But I like how I think that looks so cute. Liking it, liking it, liking it. All right, let's get his little thingamabobby on. His little berries. Now we're going to put his little rolling pin just so it touches like that. So I'm going to put it all here. Because you're just not going to see it. And then his hand's going to go. Let me just turn that just a little bit more. His hand's going to go just like that. And I'm going to put the heart trying to think where I want to put it. Let's just put it right there. I want it slightly off center. I got a lot of glue coming out the side here. Let's get some of that up. All right, now that's what we have. I like it, I like it, I like it, but now we need a little bit of something in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use my little pen. I usually do this with white, but since he's kind of, well, since his hat's white, we can't do that. But we're gonna do a little bit of stick my hand in something here. And I'll do one over here too. Okay, before I go further with that, then I take my little dippy dab thing. We're just gonna make little dots. So if you dip one time, you can do 3 dots and they just get bigger. So I'm just gonna dip one time in and I'm just going to go right here. 1, 2, 3. And we're just gonna do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3. Same thing here, without putting your finger in it. 1, 2, 3. Just kind of gives your hat a little something rather than just being plain Jane. I'm gonna wipe that off. And I'm gonna wipe this off because now I'm gonna go do some white. I don't ever, and I know it sounds bad, but this is my little detailing. I just kind of, I like it when it gets hard because then it's nice and strong. It stays that way. I clean it, but it doesn't get clean. I usually use white, but it's okay. It's okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing except for some white, and we're just gonna go in with the little, I just gotta paint all over my fingers. But if you have fine little brushes like this, use them only for this kind of stuff. I think if I want to do anything anywhere else. I'm going to do it on his face. Maybe I'll just put one there. And maybe I'll put one on the heart. And this is just a random thing. If it's not your cup of tea, don't do it. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Oops. And I might put a little dot in his cheek. I love it. So the other thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to use my detailing brush, I'm going to give the letters, what is that? A little bit of highlighting. I mean, it just looks so dark. So I'm going to use my little white, my brush with some white, and we're just going to, I'm not going to do the dotty dot things, but I'm just going to kind of brush some white in them. Let me lean into that. And again, this is totally up to you. It's not your cup of tea, don't do it. I just want to give it a little bit of should have started with fresh first. I like the look of that. Just makes it give it something rather than just plain green. Make sure I'm not sticking my hand in anything. we're almost finished. So I am going to do part 2 on this. Okay, where we're going to put a little buffalo check bow at the top. But I think that looks perfect. I like it better than just plain dark green letters. And I think once we put the greenery on, and I will leave the hanger for that too. So we will do part 2. Just making sure I clean my brush out. Like I said, I don't clean them perfect because I like when they dry real hard. And that's not the way to take care of your paint brushes, but in this case it is. Because that is the only thing I use it for, is detailing. Okay, so with that being said, there it is. I think it's cute. I love it. And if you're not really comfortable doing the little swooshy marks with the dots, something to practice with. It's kind of just, it's just what it is. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And I got, let's see if I can fix that. Sometimes you can take a little baby wipe and wipe it off. Just like that. Now what's that? Alright, so there you go. That's what we got today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. You guys, if you are not following or subscribed, please do so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I do upload. This is our inspiration for today. I hope it inspired you. If you have any questions about it, you can comment gingerbread. I will see you guys in the next video. Always remember, thoughts become things and things become treasures. You have an amazing rest of your day.